All right, good morning, seventh graders. Today we are going to talk about how understanding congruent figures and how to determine if they are congruent. Now, congruent figures, as you saw in your vocabulary, are figures that you can map to each other using only rotations, reflections, and translations. We are not using dilations yet. We'll get more into that on Thursday with similar figures. So for today's lesson, all we're going to determine is if we can map these onto each other. Now, as you can see here, these shapes are going to have to make a reflection of some sort because you can see they're mirrors of each other. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this first. All right, and if I do that, it's going to end up over here like that. So now I see that I'm going to have to do some form of a translation. So let's try to line up the corner right here and right here. So if I drag it down two and I go to the right one, well, as you can see right there, those two mapped onto each other. So then our answer to this question is yes, because you can map A, B, C, D to Q, R, S, T by reflecting it across the y-axis, then translating it one unit right and 2 units down. Now remember, I am going to go at just a regular pace. I'm not going to pause to make sure that you have all this down because you can pause the video and catch up what you need. Next, again, we need to figure out if the shapes are congruent. In this case, I'm going to do a rotation because I know that between ABC and JKL, that A is going to have to map to J. That's just because we typically go alphabetically, mapping to alphabetically. So I'm going to do a little rotation. Something like that. And I might need to rotate it a little bit more or something like that when we go. But this has been a 90-degree rotation. So now let's try to map A to J. So if we move it down 2 units and to the right 3 units, there's an issue. As we can see, these are not congruent figures because that C right there is extended past that L and they're not going to map to each other. So then we write no, because the question was, are they congruent? And then we put there is no series of transformations that map triangle ABC to triangle JKL. Once again, it might not be clear, but do try to map the alphabetically to the alphabetically. Next, we have, are the figures congruent? Now, these ones don't have any labeled vertices, but we can just try to see if any of them match. I can see that this is kind of a short side and this is kind of a short side. So I'm going to go ahead and try to map those to each other. And I can see to do that, I need to start by doing a 90-degree rotation. So let's do that. Perfect, 90 degrees. And now I know I'm going to have to do some sort of translation. So let's try to get this point here down to the far left point on shape 2. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right, and down 1, 2, 3. I see that those two nicely map onto each other, so then they must be congruent. So then once again, we go ahead and we say yes, because it's asking us if they're congruent or not. You can map polygon 1 to polygon 2 with a 90-degree rotation and a translation six units right and 3 units down. And our final example asks us if these figures are congruent. Now I can see again that I have A, B, C, and J, K, L, so I'm going to try to map A to J to start with. So to do that, I know I'm going to have to do some sort of rotation. So let's try rotating this 90 degrees. All right, now I have point A is up here, point B is here, and point C is here. So now I'm going to have to translate this. So I'm going to grab point A here, and I'm going to try to map it to J. So we have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we go left, 1, 2, 3. I see that as I map point A to point J, the rest of them fall nicely into place. So then these figures must be congruent. So then we say yes. You can map triangle ABC to triangle JKL by rotating it 90 degrees. Then translating it 10 units down and 3 units left. All right, after you finish watching this video, you can go ahead and head over to Pearson. Your homework will be assigned. It is 4 questions, I believe. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email, or if you want to ask me a question on Wednesday or Thursday when I'm back.